Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into Think and Grow
Oh,
Rich
fantastic.
by Napoleon Hill. And actually, this is a classic self-help book that you specifically requested.
Okay.
So consider this deep dive like your very own
Fine.
exploration of its wisdom. Now, you probably already know the book's central message,
Yeah.
that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. But we're going beyond just skimming the surface here. We're
Okay.
really going to dig in. And joining me is an expert who can really unpack the nuances and connect the dots in a way that's both fascinating and thought-provoking.
Great.
You know how some people have that one book they constantly revisit?
Yeah.
It holds all the secrets to life.
Right.
Well, Think and Grow Rich is that book for Bob Proctor, a legend in the self-help world. He swears by it, reads it daily, and believes every solution he needs is hidden within its pages. So, ready to see what's captivated minds like his for decades.
Absolutely. What I find particularly interesting about Hill's approach is his focus on something he calls burning desire.
Okay,
It's not just about vaguely wanting something.
right.
It's about cultivating an intense, unwavering passion that becomes the driving force behind your actions.
Like the fuel.
Yeah, like the fuel propelling you towards your goals.
And Hill wasn't just preaching this idea, he really lived it. I mean, the guy actually removed the word impossible from his dictionary.
Wow.
It makes you wonder, is that level of unwavering belief essential for achieving extraordinary things?
Right.
Or could there be a danger in denying the existence of limitations completely?
That's a great question. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah,
While unwavering belief is powerful, it's also important to be realistic and adaptable.
okay.
Hill's burning desire doesn't mean ignoring potential obstacles. It's about having the passion and drive to overcome them.
I like that perspective. It's about acknowledging limitations,
Yeah.
but not letting them define what's possible. Now, once we've tapped into this burning desire, Hill lays out a specific path to transform that desire into tangible results. He calls it his six-step method for transmuting desire into, well, in his case, financial success.
It's interesting you mention that because while the book focuses on financial achievement,
Yeah,
the principles Hill outlines can be applied to just about any goal.
right.
He gets very specific, emphasizing clearly defined objectives, setting deadlines, and creating a detailed plan of action, almost like a scientific formula for success.
Absolutely. It takes it out of the realm of wishful thinking and into actionable steps. But there's one step in particular that has always intrigued me, writing and reciting affirmations.
Right.
Almost like you're convincing your mind that you've already achieved what you desire.
Okay.
What's your take on this approach? Some might find it a bit, out there.
Well, what's fascinating here is the connection to the power of the subconscious mind
Yeah.
and a concept called autosuggestion. This was a popular idea in Hill's time,
Okay.
and it suggests that by repeatedly feeding your subconscious with positive, goal-oriented thoughts, you can actually influence your actions and behaviors to align with those desires.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts.
Right.
It's about actively shaping our subconscious beliefs to support our goals.
Exactly. And that leads us to another key point. Even with burning desire and a solid plan,
Yeah,
we all know the path to success is rarely a straight line.
for sure.
Hill acknowledges this and actually reframes setbacks and failures as opportunities for growth.
He even said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that opportunity often slips in disguised as misfortune or temporary defeat. That really resonates with me.
Yeah,
Have you ever experienced a time when what seemed like a setback actually opened a new, unexpected door? I have a story about.
yes, absolutely. I think we all have those moments where, looking back,
Yeah,
we can see how challenges ultimately led to positive outcomes. Hill's point is that successful people don't just avoid failure.
right.
They learn from it, adapt, and keep moving forward. He believed that giving up in the face of challenges was one of the biggest roadblocks to success.
Right, that persistence is key. But Hill also recognized that we don't have to go it alone.
Yeah,
He introduced this really interesting concept called the mastermind. Essentially, it's about the power of collaboration, building a support system of like-minded individuals
right.
who can share their perspectives, challenge you to grow, and contribute to your overall success. What are your thoughts on how someone can actually implement this mastermind principle in a practical way? It sounds great in theory, but building such a group seems like a challenge in itself.
Well, what's so appealing about this principle is its accessibility.
Yeah,
You don't need to be a CEO or a social media influencer to create a mastermind group.
right.
It could be as simple as finding a few colleagues with shared goals, a group of friends who support each other's aspirations, or even connecting with like-minded individuals online. The key is to identify people who are committed to growth, who are willing to share their expertise, and who will hold you accountable.
So it's about surrounding yourself with a positive and supportive network that repels you forward.
Exactly. And that brings us to another crucial aspect that Hill explores in Think and Grow Rich, the often overlooked power of our emotions.
Okay.
He believed that understanding and mastering our emotional landscape was essential for achieving our goals.
I'm curious to learn more about that. He actually categorized emotions as positive or negative, right?
He did. He actually provides a specific list of 7 positive emotions to cultivate, like desire, faith, and enthusiasm, and 7 negative ones to avoid, such as fear, jealousy, and anger. He argued that we need to become masters of our emotional states, consciously choosing to focus on emotions that fuel our aspirations while minimizing those that hold us back.
Now, that's a powerful idea that I think a lot of people could benefit from exploring further. We've covered a lot of ground here, and I'm already noticing how these principles go beyond just financial success.
Absolutely.
They seem applicable to any area of life where we want to create positive change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. It's incredible how much ground Hill covers, right?
I know, right? It feels like every chapter has like some nugget of wisdom that
Heck,
could spark a whole new discussion. And one thing that really struck me was Hill's perspective on knowledge.
yeah.
He doesn't see knowledge itself as power,
Okay.
but rather the application of knowledge.
Interesting.
I found that to be a really important distinction.
It is. He draws a clear line between general knowledge and specialized knowledge.
Okay.
While general knowledge can be helpful, it's the specialized knowledge, the kind directly relevant to your specific goals, that truly fuels success.
So it's not about being a jack of all trades.
Right.
It's about mastering the specific knowledge that aligns with your aspirations.
Exactly.
And he stresses that learning doesn't stop once you graduate or finish a course.
Absolutely not. He actually calls stopping learning once formal education is over a recipe for mediocrity.
Oh, wow.
Hill emphasizes that the most successful people are lifelong learners, constantly seeking new knowledge, and then finding ways to apply it to their goals, their businesses, their passions, whatever it is they're driven to achieve.
That's a great reminder for all of us to stay curious and never stop exploring new ideas. But then Hill throws in a bit of a reality check.
Okay.
He argues that we rise or fall based on conditions we can control.
Okay.
In other words, we have more power over our circumstances than we often realize. What do you make of that statement?
It's a powerful message of personal responsibility.
Yeah,
He's basically saying that while anyone can wish for riches or success,
right.
it's a definite plan, burning desire, and consistent action that actually gets you there.
So true.
It ties back to his emphasis on not making excuses. Remember that great line, success requires no apologies, failure permits no alibis.
So it's about owning our choices and focusing on what we can influence,
Exactly.
rather than getting stuck dwelling on external factors. Now, Hill talks a lot about the role of leadership in achieving great things, but he also had some interesting insights about followership.
Oh, interesting.
He actually argued that being an intelligent follower is a stepping stone to becoming a great leader. What do you think he meant by that?
I think Hill recognized that leadership isn't just about giving orders.
Yeah.
It's about understanding how to inspire and motivate others.
Okay.
And sometimes the best way to learn those skills is to be a really observant and engaged follower.
Right.
He's suggesting that by carefully studying the strategies of effective leaders, by learning from their successes and even their mistakes, we can develop our own leadership capabilities.
So it's about actively learning from those in leadership positions,
Yeah.
rather than passively waiting for our chance to take charge.
Exactly. And another point he emphasizes the importance of timing,
Okay.
but not in the way you might think.
Right.
Hill cautions against waiting for the perfect moment to act. Instead, he urges us to take action now,
Yeah.
emphasizing that the time will never be just right.
Have you ever found yourself putting something off, waiting for that ideal moment that never seems to arrive?
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
I'm definitely guilty of that sometimes.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in planning and preparation
Right.
and lose sight of the fact that sometimes imperfect action is better than no action at all.
Exactly. Hill's point is that action creates momentum.
Okay.
By taking that first step, even if it feels a little messy or uncertain, we open up opportunities that wouldn't exist as if we remained passive.
And once we take that action, Hills reminds us over and over again that persistence is crucial. A quitter never wins and a winner never quits.
Right.
He's adamant about weathering those storms,
Yeah.
overcoming setbacks, staying committed to that vision,
Yeah.
even when we encounter temporary defeats.
Which, as we discussed earlier, are practically inevitable on the road to success. Hill observed that most successful people faced significant challenges and failures.
Right.
But it was their ability to learn from those experiences and keep pushing forward that ultimately set them apart.
Okay.
It's that resilience that makes all the difference.
He also had some interesting thoughts about age and achievement.
Yeah.
Do you remember that part? He seemed to think the years between 40 and 50 are often the most fruitful,
Right.
a time when experience and wisdom combine to create powerful opportunities.
Yes. It's a really empowering perspective on aging. Instead of fearing it,
Yeah,
he encourages us to see it as a period of immense potential.
right.
And it makes sense when you think about it. By that point, we've had time to develop our skills, learn from our mistakes, and build a network of valuable connections.
It's about seeing the value of that accumulated experience and wisdom. Okay, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, there's one more concept I want to touch on, sex transmutation. I know it sounds a bit, well, out there.
It's definitely a topic that needs to be approached with sensitivity and an understanding of the historical context.
Right.
Hill was writing in a different time,
Yeah.
and some of his views on sexuality might not resonate with modern audiences.
Right. It's important to remember that, but I think the underlying principle Hill was trying to get at is fascinating.
Yeah,
The idea that powerful emotions, even those that are often seen as taboo or inappropriate,
right.
can be harnessed and transformed into creative energy.
Okay.
He argued that rather than suppressing or indulging in excessive sexual desires,
Right.
this energy could be channeled and redirected towards achieving our goals.
It's definitely a thought-provoking concept.
Yeah,
And it speaks to that larger theme of self-mastery that runs throughout the book.
right.
It's about understanding the complexities of human nature and leveraging our inner drives, both positive and negative, in ways that serve our higher aspirations.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. We've been exploring Hill's principles for success, and now I kind of want to shift gears a bit and talk about something he saw as like a major obstacle: fear.
Okay?
Yeah,
Hill believed that fear was one of the most significant things holding people back from achieving their full potential. He even broke it down into 7 specific fears
oh, wow.
that he believed were most common and debilitating.
Okay.
Fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love,
Right.
old age, death, and fear of the unknown.
It's almost like a checklist of all the things we worry about, right?
Yeah,
It makes you wonder, though, is fear always a bad thing?
that's a good question.
I mean, sometimes fear can be a motivator
Yeah.
or even protect us from danger.
Right, I think Hill recognized that some level of fear is natural
Yeah,
and can even be helpful in certain situations.
right.
But he was really focused on those deep-seated fears that paralyze us, that prevent us from taking risks and pursuing our dreams. He believed that by understanding and addressing these fears head-on,
Yeah.
we could unlock our true potential.
So how did he suggest we tackle those fears? Did he offer any, like, practical advice?
He did. Hill was a big believer in the power of faith, courage,
Okay.
and a positive meta-attitude to overcome fear.
Like a mindset.
Yeah, he saw faith as the antidote to fear.
Okay.
Faith in ourselves, our abilities, and the power of the universe to support us.
It sounds like he was advocating for a shift in mindset,
Right,
choosing to focus on belief rather than getting consumed by doubt and worry.
exactly.
Now, another area Hill was fascinated by was the subconscious mind. He believed it had a powerful influence on our thoughts, feelings, and actions, and even compared it to a fertile garden.
Right, he argued that the subconscious is like a garden where we plant seeds of thought.
Okay.
And those seeds, whether positive or negative, will eventually grow and manifest in our lives. So if we're constantly planting seeds of fear and doubt, that's what we're likely to harvest.
Right.
But if we cultivate a subconscious garden filled with positive, empowering beliefs, that's where our lives will tend to flourish.
So it's not enough to just think positive thoughts occasionally.
Right.
It's about actively shaping our subconscious mind to support our goals.
Exactly. And Hill offered some specific techniques for doing just that. He was a big proponent of autosuggestion,
Okay.
using affirmations and visualizations to reprogram our subconscious mind for success.
Which ties back to his 6-step method. Remember that step about writing and reciting affirmations, visualizing ourselves already in possession of what we desire? That was all about tapping into the power of the subconscious.
Exactly. By repeatedly exposing our subconscious mind to positive, goal-oriented suggestions, we can gradually shift our beliefs and behaviors to align with our aspirations. It's a process,
Yeah.
and it takes time and consistent effort, but Hill believed it was a key ingredient in achieving lasting success.
So it's like we're retraining our minds to work for us.
Right.
Not against us. And that leads us to Hill's overarching emphasis on cultivating a positive mental attitude. He was adamant that our attitude shapes our reality.
He famously said, "Our only limitations are those we set up in our own minds." It's such a powerful reminder that we have the power to choose our thoughts and beliefs, and those choices ultimately determine our experiences.
It's about recognizing that we have more control over our inner world than we often realize. And he offered practical tools for cultivating a positive mental attitude, right?
He did. Things like practicing gratitude, using affirmations,
Right.
and surrounding ourselves with positive influences.
Yeah.
It's about consciously choosing to focus on the good, to see challenges as opportunities, and to believe in our ability to overcome any obstacle.
You know, as we've been discussing Think and Grow Rich, it struck me that this book, while published almost a century ago, still sparks a lot of debate.
It does.
Some people view it as a timeless masterpiece,
Yeah,
while others find it outdated or overly focused on material wealth.
right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's important to approach any work,
Yeah,
especially one written in a different era, with a critical lens and consider the historical context.
for sure.
Hill's ideas about gender roles,
Yeah.
race, and even the definition of success are definitely products of his time.
And some of his views might not align with our own values today.
Right.
But even with those caveats, I think Hill's core principles about the power of thought, the importance of persistence,
Yeah,
and the incredible potential of the human mind are still incredibly relevant.
I agree. Regardless of your personal views on the book, there's no denying its impact.
Right.
Think and Grow Rich has inspired countless individuals to achieve extraordinary things, and I think that speaks to the enduring power of Hill's message.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave you with this. Now that you've had a chance to really explore the principles of Think and Grow Rich, what's one specific action you're going to take to turn your desires into reality?
Whether it's finally writing down those goals, crafting a detailed plan, or simply committing to cultivating a more positive mindset, remember the power to create the life you want is within you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've gained some valuable insights from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And remember, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve.